What is going on, YouTube? So coming back today with my Arizona Wildcats football preview for 2016. So talking about a team in Pac-12 South, went 7-6 overall last year, won their bowl game in the Gildan, New Mexico Bowl against New Mexico, and then also finished 5th in the Pac-12 South. So last year was actually a pretty disappointing season for Arizona after a breakout season in 2014 in which they made a New Year's Six Bowl. Expectations were high. They were expected to be one of the 2 or 3 best teams in the Pac-12 South. Actually, my pick to win the Pac-12 South last year, and just kind of folded in half. So start with my first of 3 key players, and I've got the quarterback Anu Solomon. So Solomon had trouble staying healthy last year. Brandon Dawkins at times actually looked like a very capable replacement. And in case Solomon runs into trouble or injury troubles again this year, just can't put up the numbers he's supposed to, then he could actually end up losing his starting spot. But if this offense wants to be able to look any somewhat similar to what they looked like in 2014, it's going to run through Solomon. He played decently through the stretch last year, and like I said, enough to get him to a bowl game and to win them a bowl game. But again, vast improvement is going to be needed in 2016 to show that he really is the answer for the next 2 years for Arizona at quarterback. So my second key player is Nick Wilson, coming back after a little bit of injury troubles last year. A guy that I really have a lot of faith in, and I think a guy that really could be a 1,000-yard rusher again in 2016. Had a tremendous freshman year. I believe he was a 1,000-yard rusher his freshman year. Orlando Bradford will be backing him up in the backfield. So they do have a little bit of depth at running back. But again, this is the second most key player to this offense. Like I said, it runs through Anu Solomon, but then after that, it's on Nick Wilson. These two are going to have to be as dynamic as they were their freshman year, to be able to put Arizona back on that level that they were 2 years ago. So my third key player is slot receiver for Arizona, Semaj Grant. One of the most experienced returning players for Arizona. They do lose Caleb Jones at wide receiver. That's going to hurt a little bit, but they do have Nate Phillips and Trey Griffey that will also be stepping up to kind of take those spots. And then next level down, they have Tony Ellison and the position move from defense for Cam Denson to wide receiver. So Semaj Grant, I believe, could be the best receiver for Arizona in 2016. They also got the very, very speedy Tyrell Johnson at the wide receiver spot as well, one of the fastest players in college football. Grant, one of their most experienced returning receivers. I've said this a million times already, but a guy that I could see having maybe an 800-900 yard type year with maybe 7 or 8 touchdowns. Again, a lot of it falls back on Solomon's shoulders. So my first of 2 X factors is probably the most obvious one from last year, and that is staying healthy. Arizona had a very hard time just keeping that entire locker room healthy last year. Scooby Wright missed significant time to injury. Nick Wilson missed significant time to injury. Anu Solomon missed significant time to injury. Granted, Scooby Wright's gone either way, but this team's going to have to stay a little bit more healthy this year. They have a decent amount of returning starters on both sides of the ball, 15 returning starters overall. I think the defense has a chance to be a little bit better this year. I'll get more into that with my second X factor. But if this team can stay healthy, then it can compete, at least compete for a Pac-12 South title. So move into my second X factor, and for me, it's adjusting to the new defensive coordinator. A defense that, like I said, granted was ravaged by injuries last year, welcomes in former Boise State defensive coordinator, I believe Marcel Yates. Now, I believe they will be going to the 3-3-5 defense. That might actually, no, that's their old style. I think they might actually be staying in the same defensive scheme. But Yates is a guy that runs a very, very, very aggressive defense when you talk about pass rushing. I think 2 guys that are going to be very important to step up are Justin Belknap and Luca Bruno, most notably Luca Bruno. I think he can be one of the breakout stars of this Arizona defense this year. So move into my trap game, and I think it will be Oregon State. This is an Arizona team that moving into the season extremely hard to figure out because it's hard to tell what they would have been if they were healthy last year. It's hard to say a game like Utah or Washington State will be a trap game when those other teams might actually be favored against Arizona. Oregon State comes at a trying time of the season, their last road game, and it's right before Arizona State. So again, chance to overlook it. Oregon State will probably be a better team than they were last year. It's hard to be worse than they were. So again, just a game you got to watch out for as an Arizona fan. So my biggest game for Arizona, and this is if they do want to compete in the Pac-12 South this year, is UCLA. It comes at maybe the toughest time of the season for Arizona. They have a stretch of 6 games against Washington, UCLA, Utah, USC, Stanford, and Washington State that will define their season. Again, if they want to compete, they're at least going to have to win 3 of those games. Obviously, pulling out upsets against teams like USC, UCLA, and Stanford on a consistent basis is no easy task. But they're going to have to pull a couple of them. So, get into my record prediction for Arizona, and I think they will be going 8-5. Again, probably welcome news to Arizona fans' ears unless you have just way too high of expectations for this year. This is a team that I think can close out the season on 4 straight wins. I believe that they will come out with a bowl victory this year. A team that really needs a bounce back season just to have a little bit of momentum heading into next year when they really can be a solid team for Nick Wilson and Anu Solomon being in their senior years. So that's pretty much going to do it. I'll be coming back later today with the rival team, Arizona State's preview. So yeah, that's pretty much it. See ya.